Yo. Okay, let me record. Quality. I have 8 hours of recording time.
That's it?
Hey, welcome. So you see how that red light means that camera's on. So if you... Nah.
I see. So if it's looking at me, I need to look at it.
Right. So like... Right? So I was looking at you, brother.
Wait, what is looking at me?
This camera.
This one's looking directly at me?
Yeah.
You have its attention. Oh, crap.
Deer in the headlights.
So I got to get used to like when you guys are talking, switch over. Hello, boys. Welcome.
I thought you said you were doing an intro separate.
Yes, this is separate. Well, no, I'll do one where I talk about my sponsor. I talk about
I was really confused by how
awful
start off.
How do you want to start?
Hi, folks. My name's Lincoln. Welcome back to another episode of the Tim and Lincoln podcast, where we ask ourselves and ask you the important question, like, how many nipples have you seen on Instagram today? That's like current, right?
Yeah.
Instagram's like falling apart, kind of.
Is it becoming like...
Are you not on Instagram anymore?
Number one deleted app in 2024, Instagram, if you didn't know that.
I don't know how true that is.
Elon Musk tweeted it, so...
Oh, it's got to be true then.
I'm mainly on Twitter. That's mainly
I meant dudes only. Like on Instagram, nipples.
Explain.
Right. How many, I feel like you don't have just your Explorer Instagram page filled full of shirtless men.
No.
That's just me.
Yeah, that's just you.
Okay. All right.
The algorithm has figured out what you really like.
Apparently I'm exposing myself right now.
I saw stuff again. I saw it on Twitter. It was telling me
Not the weirdest thing to be on your Instagram Explore page. Not the weirdest.
oh yeah, there's some
There's
weird
worse
stuff.
There's worse.
I mean, I suppose. It's not the weirdest. It's up there.
Nice. Yeah, I saw people talking about how Instagram is like literally just now Pornhub. That's what I saw on Twitter. So who knows? But Twitter's just full of nipples as well. So sorry.
Haven't.
Yeah.
I don't. It is.
I have no clue. I mean, I haven't been on this. I don't get on Instagram often. Instagram's not mine.
No, we're talking about Twitter because you said.
Oh
Twitter
yeah.
is also.
Oh, dude, for sure, it's everywhere. I see like.
You're not going to get away from this one. You're going to answer the question.
All right. So, did you guys hear about Sketch?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know who Sketch is?
No.
Yeah.
Wait, do that again. Yeah. You haven't seen that? He's at Tuesday. He's an internet sensation. Okay, so he plays games, streams. Like the younger generation is cooked on him a little bit, and he came out and he had basically was selling pics and stuff.
He had a gay OnlyFans.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And so, not that I was looking for this, but they're like all of the everyone is talking about it, and so I'm looking at my Twitter, and then someone is talking about it, and then puts their phone up to the screen, and you see it. I'm like, this is not what. But on Twitter, anything goes. So I'm watching people die, like just murders, bad situations, sketches, garbage stuff. Like it's just a cesspool. A lot of anti-Semitism, like a lot of anti-Semitism on Twitter.
Yeah, on Twitter.
It's kind of nuts. So Twitter is great, but it also that's the one place I feel like has more truth than. For instance, let me say this. A big thing happened, like last Sunday, maybe Saturday. I don't remember what day it was in the news. Someone got shot. No big deal. And the only place I saw information on was on Twitter. For the first 24 hours, there's nothing. I went to Facebook. I went to Instagram. Not that I have the app. But when I went there was people talking about their kids and pictures of, whatever. But there was nothing. The memes didn't come until maybe 36 hours later. 48, 56. 94 hours later. It was like a couple days later, then I started seeing memes on Instagram.
I agree. There wasn't a lot other places. Hey, what's up? There wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot other places as far as information about it. Like, it was mostly on Twitter. I don't think I ever saw anything on Instagram about it at all.
Until maybe the memes.
Maybe, but even that, I feel like it's all just shirtless Ben.
I don't know. I took a nap on Saturday, I woke up, and look, the first thing I did is I opened Twitter, and that's the very first thing I saw. What a nap!
Yeah, it literally it was so many. My feed was only Trump getting shot.
I saw the videos of it, and people immediately selling like shirts with the Snapchat of him, like or a snapshot of him holding the fist up.
Yeah, about 4 shirts. It was crazy.
Well, of course, yeah.
I was living in the moment.
Yep. Yeah, you woke up and America was different.
I got a flag coming in the mail.
That's all right. It's okay. Yeah, it seems like that too.
America's different.
Yeah.
So this is I have this flag that I bought at a swap meet in Kentucky years ago.
Okay.
And it's Trump like in like a black tank top, and he's got like the Rambo headband and everything. He's holding like a 50 cal, and he's like straddling a tank. This is the most odd thing I've ever seen in my life. I have
it's
to
beautiful.
own it.
Yeah.
And
I've seen the one with Putin on the bear.
Yeah, Putin on the bear. Yeah. And it's just funny now because it feels like prior assassination attempt, that flag stayed inside. That was just for me to see. That was just something I hung up above my bed so I could look at before I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Now I feel like it kind of feels like we're in a space where I can take that thing outside just a little bit, like a little bit more each day.
Oh, just fly it proudly.
From your vehicle as you drive.
Yeah.
Put it on the back of the vehicle and just
There you
fly.
go.
Yeah, and then get like matching bumper stickers.
Of course.
Yeah, crazy times. I just was I don't think that. Yeah, the apps are different, so that's why I go back to. I trust Twitter a lot more, even though it's a cesspool and lots of garbage. I trust Twitter more than Instagram, and something massive happened to our country, and Instagram wasn't posting stuff until later, unless you were in the right algorithm, maybe. But I think the regular people just did not even.
Like you were friends with someone who was there, and so you caught it on their story. Otherwise, nothing. I feel like that's how it have to happen.
Yeah, and even that would be suppressed,
right?
Like,
unless you watched it all the time. So if you knew someone there and were looking for it, you would find it. But I don't think Instagram is for news. But this is like more than news.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I feel like I saw it on Instagram fairly quickly, but like most of the things I follow are like Christian pages, so it was immediately like all over the place. Like it was just video clips.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in the right algorithm. Yeah. That's you need to follow Christian pages to know what's going on in the country.
Yeah.
That's sad. Yeah. That's so sad. It was interesting because I don't know. I think I'm getting all my information from podcasts and Twitter, social media, like the tornadoes that happened recently, or the tornado watch that happened like a couple days ago. It was interesting because I did not turn on the news. I don't have a TV, so I don't turn on the news to take a look. But I went on to Facebook and put Goshen tornado, and there's a meteorologist who is from our area, was in like Valparaiso area currently. He was from his hotel room doing a live stream about the tornadoes, telling everyone what they had to watch out for. There was 6,000 people watching. And he's like, hey, if you live in this area, go to bed. These people, you're going to have some gusts. Goshen, you're going to get hit a little bit. And then, I say 10 minutes. If nothing happens, go to bed. I'm like, this is nuts. And then there's people in his chat saying, yeah, the gusts are coming right now. Yeah, a tree fell over here. He's like, oh, yeah, so watch out for this and this and that. Like live inputs, and he's just talking. And I'm like, why would I ever turn on the news when I can find a guy who's just live streaming about the weather now? Yeah, things are shifting,
I pretty sure if a tornado came through our area, I would die immediately. Just the fact that like I slept through that storm.
You didn't hear the sirens?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Oh man!
Like I sleep like a rock apparently because I woke up to a text message from my downstairs neighbors like, "Hey, are you okay? You can come and stay in the basement if you need to." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I walk outside and there's like tree limbs everywhere. I was like,
Yeah.
oops.
Ooh. Yeah, there was a tree like 1 block in front of you that fell down like, pretty massively. There was also a tree on your street, a car on your street that got smashed. Smashed by a tree. Well, it was 7th Street, not your street.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Are we doxing Phil right now?
Yeah. Phil lives in 2010 7th Street by the college. I got you, Phil. No big deal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Look up accident reports where the tree fell.
Okay.
You'll find his house real easy. It was Phil's car that got hit by the tree. Anyways.
Oops.
Yeah. Dude, my sister, she had a tree fall on her bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's so many pigs. She woke up and walked outside and thought, nothing happened, but I better go sleep in the living room where it's a lot safer. And then woke up in the morning, walked out. The boom that she heard that woke her up was a tree that fell on her, on her bed. There's like a little crack. Like it's pretty nasty.
Oh.
So, yeah. Good time.
She's safe.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
Did you have any damage?
No.
No, you got big trees.
We do. We have several big dead trees. I should cut them down.
Yeah.
But no, none of them came down in the storm that produced tornadoes in our area.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Thankfully.
It just seeing that, like, seeing like being able to go online and get real time information was nice. It was nice to know that, and I don't have to have news. That's why I'm dude. I think the news is dead. Like it's got 3 more years, and then all real pertinent information is going to come from Twitter. That's where the truth is. And it's everything. So you guys think that Elon Musk is the Antichrist, or were you guys on that?
Good question. Phil, what do you think?
After many unwarranted conversations with my dad, it might be Trump. So who knows?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, your dad thinks that Trump is the Antichrist? Oh, because of the ear thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it is in Revelation.
Well, the ear thing, the fact his name is Trump, Little Trumpet. Making connections, my dad.
What
if his name was something else?
Does your dad spend most of his time on Facebook?
Oh, that's my dad's favorite. But well, not Facebook. He's TikTok. It's TikTok videos for sure.
That doesn't surprise me. That's for sure. Like, of course, China doesn't want Trump in, so they're going to be pushing that type of propaganda. Dude, your dad's sucking the communist hole.
Yeah.
That's not good.
I hope he never hears this. To find out he's a communist this whole time, we'd kill him.
So what do you think about Elon Musk there, Lincoln?
These cameras are tough to work with.
What?
I keep looking at them.
Oh yeah, because you're looking at them, so you're watching the light.
Yeah, I can't not. I'm facing them.
Just make eye contact with us.
I'm trying to. That guy right there.
This makes me feel a lot better because this whole time I'm wondering, when I speak, should I be looking directly at the camera?
You should be. You guys should check that out. That was really funny. YouTube, Timonspodcast. Yeah, I'm working with these. I'm trying to figure out how to make them all work. I mean, it's all. Is it pretty seamless, or does it look?
I don't know. I can't stop looking at it right there. I've been following it around. Every shot is going to be me looking at the camera.
Yeah. You're just a cat.
Yep.
like a little laser rolling around.
Uh-oh.
Now, I was listening to this podcast, and it was interesting because they were talking, this guy was making the case for how he may be the Antichrist, Elon Musk. And he's like, yeah, of course he's going to give you Twitter for free, but he's going to take your soul. I'm like, yeah, that's a really good point.
I don't think Twitter's the only social media that's stolen people's souls.
What other social medias? All of them?
All of them.
Do you hear a knock?
I heard a knock upstairs, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my neighbor. Let me pause. 1 second.
I don't know how he would do that. He needs like a producer, like that guy that came and looked. He needs like somebody to do all of this, so he doesn't have to do any of it. That way you have somebody who's like, that person's talking, click.
I just keep looking at all the cameras.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah. They seem at odd angles. Like apparently that one's looking at me, but it looks like it's looking over here. So I don't.
Yep, it's looking at you. I mean, it kind of is also looking over there. You're in the lower part of the frame, but
okay.
no, it's framed up pretty okay.
Okay.
It's framed up all right. Yep.
I'm just doing my best to sound coherent and normal because the last time we did, not so great.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will be limiting beer intake.
I'll just be limiting my speaking time.
That's kind of not what we're doing here. That's kind of the opposite.
Well, there's 3 of us. I'll interject. Everything all right?
Yeah, everything's good. That was planned.
Was it?
We're back. Let's talk about Mexicans. It's funny because I was supposed to. They're supposed to come over at 11 and get something, and it's 1:10. That's how it goes.
But
Island time, brother.
you were gone at 11 though.
No, we left at 11:30.
Maybe.
No, we got
All right.
a little after 11:30.
You didn't get here until
Yeah, like 11.
11:35.
Sorry about that.
Well,
No, you're
I
good.
was going to say, so because, my family, well, I guess half of my family is Mexican now because of my stepmom.
Yeah.
Like, the time thing is my favorite thing in the entire world because it's like, all right, be at the house at 6, like a holiday. Let's say Christmas. Okay, we're starting things at 4 o'clock. I show up at 6:30. Half the people aren't even there yet. It's beautiful. As someone who is time challenged, it's a beautiful place.
Someone
to
who's
be.
Mexican.
Yes.
Yeah.
In here.
I love it. No, it's cool. I was talking to someone about this a little bit. I think when I worked in Florida, there was the same type of culture of like, hey, be at this meeting at 11, and then no one shows up till 11:15, 11:20.
Time is a construct, buddy.
Yeah. Well, the conversation I had with Scott Ingbrick, which you know Scott, I don't think you know Scott, but Scott was telling me, he's like, I think we were at least having this conversation, and we were talking about how in the Midwest we have winter. Like, if you don't get things done by a certain time, you're in a bad spot. Like, you need to get this stuff done because there is an impending cold coming that you won't be able to do anything. And when you live in an area that has no snow, it's kind of like, well, we'll get to it. It'll happen eventually. Like, there's no big deal. So it's like the difference between it was interesting that we were talking about that. We kind of saw there's a little bit of a connection there, whether that's just been baked into our DNA because we've lived here for so long, but once winter comes, like, you're in a position, like, yeah.
So have to have enough overtime, food saved up for winter, firewood.
Yeah.
That has created a sense of timeliness in Northerners that it hasn't in Southerners.
Yeah. That's a theory.
Interesting.
That's a theory. And so
I was thinking about this the other day. Let's say you had a choice to live wherever you wanted. Why pick an area that has winter? Like, if I had a choice in general, like, I wouldn't live here.
really,
Where it gets, like, so cold your car doesn't start. If I had a choice, I wouldn't pick that one.
yeah.
What do I mean? Like, so I just wonder, like, there's so many people that live in areas where there's such, like, horrible winters. Why? If you had a choice, why? Like, what caused your ancestors to move here and settle here and say, you know what? This is perfect. I can't feel my fingers, toes, and we just lost a baby. Let's stay.
Well, let me go back. We talked about ancestors. Like, if you go to Arizona, when you're in Arizona, I was at this park and they talked about the first time 1 million people were residents in Arizona was in the 60s. It was like 64, 65. People didn't want to live there because it was way too hot all the time. And then once air conditioning came, they're like, yeah, we'll live here. So I think the thought was, if you're in the cold, you can always warm up. If you're in the hot, like there's only so much you can do. So like those areas weren't super populated. The other thing about snow and cold is it's water, which then goes into the ground, which makes it easy to grow crops. So if you don't have water, like at times where we're at now, yeah, I don't care about growing crops. Well, I do actually care deeply about growing crops. But, it's not like essential to me living at all right now. I can just work and then get food from wherever that they pump water somewhere and they grow, but our ancestors kind of didn't have those abilities. So yeah, to answer your question, that's why your ancestors probably moved here, Phil. Probably. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Now we live in the modern world. Where would you live?
For like a survival scenario?
Just for wherever you want to.
You're gonna have to
like if you could,
homestead and settle somewhere.
No,
or
even
just like today.
Just right today. Now. Like if you could, where like what Phil was saying, like why would you live in the winter? If you could live anywhere and enjoy it, and you had your community. Let's say you could take your whole community and move it to where you're living, so you don't have that aspect. Just like the perfect place to live. Where would that be?
Well, I feel stupid now because my first thought is Kentucky, but Kentucky has winters. I don't know.
But somewhere with a little less winter.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe Georgia.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Northern Georgia. Yeah.
So, yeah, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. So not far.
Yeah.
Not too far from here, actually.
Right down the road.
Just a couple hours south.
Yeah, I feel that. Oklahoma.
I don't think
so. No. Everyone said no.
That crossed my mind when you asked that question. All I could think is tornadoes and people who live in Oklahoma.
Yeah. The Indians. Lots big reservations out there. Texas, maybe? I don't know, even Texas. I don't know if I'd want to live in Texas. I like Indiana.
I don't hate the winter that much here. I don't
hate winter either. I don't like snow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If it just got super cold, it wouldn't be as much as just like, I don't know. Because I already don't like driving, and then having to drive in snow, I can't. I just can't. I have to. And I hate it.
If I could, I would do like my summers here, or even like northern Michigan. Mm-hmm. Just like all summer long, out in the wild up in northern Michigan, and then winters I would do like Arizona, Southern California, Florida, like somewhere like probably Southern California or in places with mountains and warmth, like hybrid it, or like Costa Rica or some crazy spot like that.
I don't know. Texas. I do like Texas. Texas is nice. I mean, I've been there a few times in specific times of the year, but it's depending on where you're at in the state, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Lincoln,
it would be a big adjustment to get used to somewhere that's that hot. Like it'd be a hard first summer.
Well, I don't know. I think the best places in that would have to be like coastal areas. Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty like when you're right next to the water.
Get the
even
breeze.
if it's hot, the breeze and just a chance to go to the water if it's too hot.
Dude, I would love to live in the Bahamas. Like, there's a ton of islands in the Bahamas, and go to a place that literally no one else goes to, and just vibe out there. I mean, it would be expensive because everything's imported because you can't grow anything. But like, I visited an island there, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Just hang out on an island.
There was like 400 people that lived on this island. There was no fast food. There was no there was one bar, and it was in a swamp. You were literally just would swing across gators while you're eating food. It was cool.
That's crazy.
I think it was like was it Samoa? I think that'd be pretty nice. Or like Tonga.
Yeah.
I could live there.
Epstein's Island.
Been there. It's kind of cool.
Not a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Hopefully.
Already pre-built structures.
Right.
Yeah. Good security.
Good security.
Yeah. You can see camera. I mean, good cameras. Good security system. You can kind of see any room, any threat that's coming.
Really safe. The government's listening to everything and can't not be because of, I'm sure, the amount of bugs all over everywhere there. So
some say
safe,
Epstein.
secure.
Some say Epstein owns the island. Others say the U.S. government is their main spot. So maybe Israel. Who knows?
I try to not think about that too much.
Yeah, don't. Whatever happened to him? He's gone.
Maybe.
And every little bit of him is like, we don't even talk about it.
That's how you know that it was like really crazy
stuff.
Because what hasn't been released,
his book, his log,
client list,
mm-hmm.
still, nor will it ever probably.
Yep.
So yeah, just potentially the largest, baddest thing of our lifetime that we'll never really know about.
No. Largest baddest thing of our lifetime was the assassination. COVID was the largest baddest thing of our lifetime. 9/11 was the largest baddest thing of our lifetime. You start going down the list, you're like, this is
the recession.
The recession. 2008. Yeah. The bailout. Yeah. Joe Biden winning.
Yeah.
His first term was
it's been a wild ride.
The pandemic.
Yeah. I know. Do you guys like, I keep on, the more I just am aware of things, I used to think that everything was figured out. Everything was in its place, and we were heading in a good, like we were all growing and becoming better. And the more I get older, the more I realize, like, whoa, no one has anything figured out. Mm-mm. And I can't trust for sure the government whatsoever. Like, it's like I don't have faith in any institution. Like, it's not surprising that Trump got shot because, like, I have all of my faith in institutions being eroded quickly. Started out in 2010 when I went to a Christian college. That institution, or that faith in that institution eroded quickly, like really quickly. But then you start like other things. I'm like, this is the same. People are whoever's running this is just incompetent, and they're not better than me. Mm-hmm. Like we're all human. We're all the same. Well, why do I think that they are stronger and greater and the best ever? Been doing a lot of Trump impressions.
As you should.
Yeah.
The guy's a hero. a messiah of sorts at this point.
Yeah.
Some people have been calling him anointed.
Yeah. The sixth prophet.
I agree. It's gonna be. We were watching here's how you know things are changing. I watched part of the last night of the RNC.
Oh my!
Yeah, just to see what it was all about. I've never watched a national convention before. I didn't know what I was seeing. I don't know what they do. I don't know who these people are.
Okay.
I don't know how you become one of these people, but I think I want to. I want to be a delegate. I want to wear the outfit, the funny outfit.
Yeah,
not really a costume, not really formal wear. That kind of thing.
I've not even. I don't even know what they look like.
Yeah, no one does.
Wow.
So cool. Don't know what they do, but it looked like an awesome party. It looked like a lot of fun. I feel like the bar scene in town that week would be nuts.
Have you seen, again, I saw this on
we all have.
The
Grinder exploded because of the RNC. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yes. So for those at home, Grinder is like a social dating, internet dating app.
Gay Tinder.
But people may not know what Tinder is. But it's an app where you find people to love. And Grinder was, I saw a video of a guy just like hundreds of thousands of people that he was matching with, and then they had an outage because there were so many people using it at the RNC it was at Chicago or Wisconsin, one of the two, like in the Midwest. They had a massive outage, and they couldn't keep up enough bandwidth because so many young Republicans, even old Republicans, were trying to find some love at the RNC.
I think it was old Republicans trying to meet young Republicans.
I think it's,
Their CEO called it their Super Bowl.
Wow. That's nuts.
It's really funny.
Yeah,
it's really, really funny.
That's crazy. Crazy to start. I mean, it makes sense. I'm not surprised. I was talking to someone who is a part of that persuasion, and when I was telling them that I know multiple
persuasion now.
Yeah, part of that lifestyle. They're gay. They're the gayest. Never been anyone gayer than them. And I'm talking to them, and I was telling them that, like, I know a lot of young gay Republicans and openly gay, openly conservative, and Republican. And they were very surprised. I'm like, no, there's a lot. So, grab that video and send it to them. So, they're the guests. My fan base. Dude, yeah, it's interesting. What did you, when it switched over, because Trump went for like a minute.
A really long time.
Yeah, he went hard.
Like a 2-hour-long speech.
What was that like?
I fell asleep. It was also midnight. He was talking at midnight.
He started at midnight?
He went on at 10 p.m.
Wow.
And at midnight, he was still talking.
Wow.
I don't think Biden could do that.
No chance.
Like, saying the president of our country can't stay up late and talk in front of people.
We saw that already.
Yeah, like
They should have done.
Can we be real about the world we're living in right now? Like, come on.
No, you cannot.
No, but we should be able to.
We live in Instagram and Facebook. We've already established that's not real. They should have. This is the world we live in. Sure. They should have definitely done the debate between Trump and Biden at like 10 a.m., 8 a.m., right when he's like cognitively, after 7 days of long sleep, and then he wakes up and then heads right into the debate. They decided to do it late at night, like you said, and we saw what happened late at night. Like, a lot of cogs are misfiring.
But also, the leader of the free world, sometimes things happen late at night you got to deal with.
Most of the things you're dealing with happen late at night.
No, everyone lives on the American timetable. Come on.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, the debates shouldn't have been at 10 a.m. during prime time for everyone's cognitive function.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about.
Yeah. I think the theory I heard was they were not expecting Trump to even take the debate. And so it was kind of like a...
I'm surprised there was a debate because I remember them saying that, like, Biden's administration, they weren't going to do any debates. Like, they just weren't going to have them.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it was a thing where they put all of these rules and stipulations, like, I'm going to turn your mic off, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And they're like, what's going to happen is Trump's going to say, no, I'm not going to, screw you guys, basically. And then they're like, oh, he doesn't even want to debate us. That was the angle they went for. And Trump's like, oh, you forget, I love being in front of everybody all the time. Yes, I'll do whatever. I'm down. And then they can't back it off. So they thought, well, maybe he's cognitive. He's going to take a vacation for 7 days and sleep, and we'll drug him up.
Juice him up. Yeah.
Juice him up. And
big swing and a miss on that.
Yeah.
Big swing and a miss. They gave him the wrong drugs, the wrong combination.
I don't think they gave him the wrong drugs. They gave him too much.
Or too little. Or too little.
Do you think he'll stay in? I mean, everyone.
No.
Hey,
no
guys, listen. We're podcasting straight from the basement of a town in Goshen, and we have the answers. Mm-hmm. There's like, what? Who knows? There's a chance he might. There's a chance he won't.
Him running for. Thank you for switching the mic to the camera. You've been asking me questions and getting the mic moved beforehand, and getting ready for me to look directly at the mic and respond. Really appreciate that.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm trying to learn it. Maybe I should so you can't see what I'm doing.
Nope. Because then I can prepare. I can pay attention.
I kind of want you to pay attention. I'm in cognitive full control here. I kind of want like a little hand thing where I just like 1, 2, 3 it.
Yeah. That's got to exist.
I'm sure it does. Yeah.
So what'd you ask me?
Something about Biden being in still.
I think him running for re-election makes so little sense in so many ways that it's hard to speculate about what he's going to do next when he's already doing things that make so little sense. Yeah. It's like, I don't think he should be running at all, nor he should have the last time, I think. Like, if this is how he is, not I think, I imagine, I'm certain, there are episodes of our podcast where I make remarks like, no, there's no way Joe Biden's going to get the nomination. Have you heard him talk recently? He's terrible. And somehow he got elected.
Yeah.
All the way through. Went all the way through.
Yeah.
I think I remember talking about it.
Yeah. We have the evidence.
It's there.
We got 600 plus episodes. You can come through.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
We got to at least somehow like take away your name from it so you're not associated, or just fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed of any of that. Do I openly tell people to go back and listen to episodes? No. Not like coworkers and stuff at work. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think it's still going to be the nomination?
I don't know. I don't know what to think because it's like nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Nothing anybody has done in the past however much time has passed has made any sense to me. It will never make any sense to me, so I just can't have an opinion about it.
That was my answer. Get your own.
Yeah. It's legit.
Well, like I mean,
No, it is.
I could literally say anything and they could do the opposite. Like I don't know.
You know what's crazy? This is just...
Wait, no. Here's my answer. I don't care. I just don't care. All right.
That's a beautiful answer.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? This is a totally maybe side note here, but when Trump almost got assassinated, the crypto market went nuts, like gained 13%. Like, yeah, in the 24-hour period, it rose 13%. The market went nuts too. I'm not as plugged into the market, but it also rose pretty massively.
Yeah, in weird ways. You've heard about the shorts against like Truth Social and stuff.
Oh, really?
Day before his assassination.
Oh,
A big.
I have not heard about this.
A big fund again on Twitter, on X. I'd have to look it up, but they shorted Truth Social stock a whole bunch.
Wow.
Because guess if he would have gotten assassinated, what would they have done with his social media brand? Like it probably would have fallen apart.
So
you know?
So it was.
So
Ooh, here's a question. Who do you think was behind it? Was it just
second shooter?
Second shooter.
This is what's crazy is, everyone talks about the JFK assassination. Well, when I was younger, it would be kind of brought up, not in circles typically, but for the most part, like I'd hear about it here or he got assassinated. And as I got older, it was like, what's going on with this? And people would still talk about it, and they didn't have a clue of, and then like what. He was assassinated. That's the end of the story. But they had the magic bullet, the grassy knoll, all these different theories. We're living through. This is and it's like we're in the same spot where it's like this was a massive thing, and there's so many questions, and there's so many theories. But now we have the internet. It's not just like
in a lot of ways, a lot of situations. You've seen the graph of the red arc and then the blue arc.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, hey, that doesn't make sense either.
No.
I don't know. Yeah.
There's a lot
of ways.
So second shooter, so you think it's the water tower? Is that what you're thinking?
Potentially.
Yeah.
The whole situation went so badly. You're right. Is it what you just said a minute ago? Is it mass incompetence? Are the people in charge more competent, more smart than I am to like manage a situation? And like natively, probably not, but on-the-job work experience should lead to more competence and better decision-making, and how much, this organization has done exactly that for a long time.
Right.
So they should have known exactly what to do to, like, secure a location, and, like, they're set in stone, like, safety protocol for when X happens, do Y, like, why...
You train for it.
Why did they identify a target and then not move Trump off the mark? Like,
right.
I remember when I woke up from my nap and I see the first thing that pops in my head when watching that video is like, no one seems to like he's talking, and then you see him, like, you hear the gunshots and you see him grab his ear and you hear a few more. One gunshot, like, if I'm behind him, I'm ducking, I'm running, I'm getting the heck out of there as fast as I can. And everybody's just kind of like...
Well, okay,
shocked.
So I took an active shooter training with a police, like a police SWAT guy from Mishawaka. And so he was talking about what happens when gunshots, like, go off. Mentally, majority of people do not want to face the fact that something negative and bad is actually happening at that moment. So you'll hear a lot of people who, like, there's a shooting at the mall. a lot of people will say, "Oh, I thought it was fireworks," but logically, what's more likely, someone lighting off fireworks in the middle of a mall or someone walking through with a gun and shooting?
Is it Concord Mall? Because both.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Concord.
Yeah, R.I.P. Concord. Yeah, so it's like that a lot of people aren't trained to in their brain. They're like, they dismiss it because they don't want that negativity or even to like face the thought of, oh, there's someone shooting at me right now, because it's such a like fear or flight mechanism, and so they'd rather just like ignore it or justify that it's something else so they don't have to be in this like high level of terror. That happens a lot in a lot of different shootings from the conversation that I had with this guy in the training.
And it's a loud environment, a lot of people around. Bleachers are kind of noisy. Trump's talking, their speakers, like, was it easy to ID? Right, people already don't want to identify the noise, but even in that environment, was it noisy enough that like a lot of people didn't really hear it? And your focus was on Trump, and you see Trump go down, and you don't make the connection of like someone is shooting
until seconds later.
It's funny that I made that call right away because, like I said, I'm watching this video, and to me, it doesn't make sense that no one's like really reacting like they should, and like you see somebody directly behind him, where it's like she's looking in the direction of the gunshots. You hear the gunshots, and then immediately, phone goes up. I thought that's kind of weird. And like a couple days later, a guy at work who said, "Look at this." He shows me this video, and it's like a close up of this lady's face, and they're doing a full investigation.
Oh, of who she is. Yeah. I saw some of that stuff too. There is so many different like conspiracy theories out there about what, who, how all this went down. And then there's like did Trump stage this? I've seen a lot of that as well. Oh, that was just ketchup in his ear. Oh, of course Trump would kill people to get his popularity up. Like those are narratives getting pushed as well. Like
those are all so inconsistent with everything he's ever done and said. Yeah. Like, again, we've had years and years and years of hearing one side of the story from a particular group of people,
right?
Legacy media,
right?
And instead of looking at like his words in context, the fine people hoax thing that he supposedly called a bunch of white supremacists fine people, when that's literally not what the speech was. Like, you've been given one view of people who've been lying to you about who he is, rather than just look at policies, look at his speeches in context, look at what he's actually done, and doesn't really add up. Like, there's a lot of dissonance there. He's really way more moderate of a candidate politically than like people give him credit for.
Right.
Like, he's not even that good of a Republican.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Would he stage that to make himself look better? He doesn't need to. Like, he was already winning before this. Like, with how the debates went, with him, with his conviction, like, he knows I think, like, the evidence is there to support that he might know that his campaign is going well against Biden right now. So.
Right.
I had a conversation the other day about that, where it's like, to at least from my eyes, from what I see, he's definitely winning, some election, and that happens. Like, he gets shot, and so to me, it's like there's no doubt in my mind. Like, if there was any doubt before, it's completely gone, to the point where if he doesn't win the election, I could understand like a full scale like uproar of like the whole voter fraud thing. I mean, it's the only thing that would make sense to me. Like, obviously, it's voter fraud if he's not winning, because like I don't.
That was my next. Like, what happens if he does not win? What then?
Civil war?
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people repeating the line from 1984. The premise was they got you to stop believing your lying eyes, to disbelieve what.
Yeah.
So like,
we're always at war with Eurasia, and then they always are switching who they're at war with every year.
So like, in these situations, you're a smart person, you're a logical thinker, you are capable of distinguishing fact from fiction. How could that make sense with where we stand as a country and where we're at? Like, things are not the same now. Yeah. Like, the era we grew up in pre-COVID is very different than what we live in today. How are people not awake and cognizant of that? how do you not feel the extra dollars come out of your bank account every single week because of how expensive groceries and like utility costs are, and like if you've got rent, your rent has gone up too. Like all of these,
My mortgage went up.
My mortgage went up too because my property taxes went up.
Yeah. I had to pay more. I was
yeah.
paying like I pay an extra $60 a month now.
It adds 7 years to my mortgage, but because before I could afford to pay extra on my mortgage to the tune of my mortgage being shortened by 7 years, but the amount it went up was the amount I was paying extra.
Isn't that nuts?
So the government stole 7 years of mortgage payments from me by doing that.
Yeah. Because everything went up. That's so dirty.
There was an era not that long ago where it wasn't cool to be like, I voted for Trump. Like beyond it wasn't cool, like social situations become hostile. Like how messed up was that?
Yeah.
How crazy was it?
Stay in line.
Yeah. How crazy.
Follow the system.
Like I didn't mean to get all preachy, but like where we very recently were and where we are now.
It's shifted.
Yeah, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can tell you stayed up till midnight watching Trump at the RNC. Just those talking points alone were like,
most of that's my own stuff. Trump didn't talk about like,
okay.
I don't know.
I'm joking. I didn't watch it.
Most of what I caught from the RNC and the little that I watched was just him yelling about how high his fist was.
Yeah, he talked through the whole thing, what he was thinking.
Really?
Gave like a play-by-play. He's like, I'm only going to do this once. So that was kind of neat. He did like a tribute to the firefighter who passed away, which again was the right thing to do, and he should have done that. But the way politics has been the past couple of years, it seemed like a huge exception that like an American hero would be honored. We just had a president during a debate say we didn't lose anyone when we withdrew from Afghanistan, but 13 people died, and hasn't ever done anything to like honor them or help their families. And Trump raised $6 million for these people who got injured, killed at his rally.
I didn't even know we lost people doing that.
Yeah,
the Afghanistan.
Yeah,
yeah, that's nuts. I was listening to people talking about how there's always darkness and there's always light. Like that's just been the if we're living in a time right now where it's so narrow and focused, we're looking at a year or 4-year gaps of time. This 4 years, just because of how our cycle is set up. But if you look at it on eternity, we are literally just a sliver in the whole scheme of eternity. And always there's been a wraparound of a tension between darkness and light fighting. It's never like you win. It's never that you lose. It's always a tension. It's a yes. And we're living in that tension. And I think I'll say as Americans have been really complacent. And we're also told a narrative all the time. Like, someone's going to come in and save you and he's going to teach you the ways. No, sometimes you got to realize that, hey, we're in stuff and the government is not going to save us. And the government might be the evil one. And there's, it's like you're fighting. And it's not that it's evil, but there's evil forces influencing it. And so you got to point that out and get rid of it and then keep moving forward. And it's that tension of the grind. And I don't think we're ever... Like we are not taught that or even like programmed for that. We're programmed to think that you fight a war and you're done. Like, Captain America saves the day. He goes through and it's but in reality, he finishes killing the bad guy. And then what happens to all the buildings wrecked and the families there's additional stuff outside. There's always still tragedy. It's not like you're done. You keep going. And if you look at the grand scheme of the 48 different Marvel movies, like it always the bad guy keeps coming back. But in that one movie you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, we're done. It's concluded. But in reality, it's literally a huge saga of the same story over and over and over again. I think that's where we're living, but we just don't realize it because we're so locked into this like small time zone of this is where it's at.
And there doesn't seem to be like a rest period in between.
Oh, never.
Like those things just keep getting closer and closer to where it's all. It's not this. It's just this.
Yeah. Nonstop. Yeah. I really do think I don't know. It's just like I'm trying to think more on a eternity time frame instead of like what's happening right now, because you can't. There's no hope in whatever. If you have your hope in Trump, like I don't think it's not a great foundation.
To have your hope in people is not. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
regardless of who they are and what they say. It's not worth it.
What's nice is the powers that are negative are working through people, and so there's a lot of incompetence. So it's kind of nice to see that, like, things are so bad now that it's like you just see that. I this podcast I was listening to, the guy, he said, I grew up in an atheist or an agnostic, but the culture right now is showing me that the devil's real. Like, it's so real that I can't ignore it. That it's like, so if the devil's real, now he starts unwinding that. He's like, yeah, I'm not anymore. I believe fully in God. But what happened was the devil really was shown. I'm like, dang, that's really good stuff.
Am I supposed to talk? Oh, I saw you switching. Hey, what's up?
Nice. I don't know.
Not to like drive home the point that things are overly bad now. It's just a jarring switch from how things used to be.
Right.
Like I still think now is one of the best times in history to be alive.
Oh, for sure.
But things are so different than they were 2019.
I think I agree with that statement wholeheartedly, but I agree with it because, like, it's the best time. This time is the best time to be alive, just the fact that we can recognize immediately the bad stuff. Because the bad, like, it's pretty bad right now. It's always been pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not to this scale, maybe even more than this scale, if I'm being honest. But there's all this stuff in the way that's like, don't look at this.
Yeah.
You know,
Ignore
look over here where the sun shines at. Yeah. Where it's like, it's right here in the open, smacking us in the face right now. Yeah. And we are able to recognize it and see it and avoid it, or maybe not avoid it, but confront it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah. The devil's showing himself, like, the evil is so evil. It's like, oh yeah, and I'm not saying that, like, but I think all of politics, like, you talk about the grinder being this, like, there's evil in all politics. It's so evil. The wars. What's evil is when you're literally destroying crops and you're destroying people, and the kids aren't playing outside and having fun anymore. Like, you're living, the people in Ukraine and Russia right now are living in a place where they're in fear all the time. Evil's winning there, and who's funding it? The Republicans and the Democrats. And it's like, whoa, how my money's going, and let's bomb a ton of Palestinians. Like, that's a great time. Who's bombing them? Our money. Our money is funding that stuff. It's blood money. It's gross.
Our money kind of started all that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our
money
kinda
grows.
It did. Let's not beat around the bush. It did.
Us giving them their money back started this.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, it's crazy but it's in the light, like, we're seeing it, which is kind of nuts.
It's in the light of the internet. Like, it's easy to talk about how the internet's such an evil tool, because it definitely is. But sure. Like, it's a network, obviously, that humanity has never had, and I think, like, I think it's prompting a lot of shift.
And I think that's a beautiful thing, because there's no hiding anymore. Like I said, the internet can be a very, very evil place, like you said, but you cannot hide anything. There's no more secrets with the internet.
It's hard to hide secrets. It's very hard to hide them now. When in the past you just kill people off.
You did, like, you did one small thing 2 years ago, and all of a sudden now the entire world knows about it.
Yeah. Or my Facebook post from 14 years ago. Yeah, that's awkward when I look at those. And Facebook's like, remember when you were just a little racist? You're like, oh gosh, did I really say that about Barack Obama?
Oh, no.
What did I say about him? Wow.
Big.
Wow. 2008 Timon was unhinged. I was also 16, so.
More unhinged. We're all more unhinged now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, for sure.
Big Mike. I believe that one wholeheartedly.
Well, it's like I didn't even realize, some of the stuff that was going on, you just didn't even know.
No.
Like, I was getting some of my information from, like, really small pools of who knows what, but now it's just, like, everywhere. You can go down any rabbit hole and find crazy theories about everything and anything. I have a question. Did you guys watch the podcast with Terrence? He's the actor with Terrence Howard with Joe Rogan, where he was talking about, like,
I got about 20 minutes into it, the first one he did. And I
couldn't do it. Did you watch it at all? No.
No.
It was just so out there, and it was really fascinating. Mm-hmm. But it's like, oh yeah, everything you know in science and math is not real either. He's explaining how 2 isn't an actual number. And times it by 1.
He's explaining it with his
1 times
reasoning
1 is not
behind
1.
it. Yeah. Is like, I don't know.
It made sense. Well, and then they bring in Brett. Are you familiar with who Brett Weinstein is? Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
All right. So he's this credible mathematician, and brings him in, and Brett's like, "Well, yeah, you're right, but you're wrong too." But I'm like, "All right, but he's right." He's explaining him like they're talking about it, and like, yeah, 2 really throws everything off. So we ignore that, but everything else works if you work on. It's like, yeah, but 2's wrong, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, even the institution of math is not real. You know, that's where I'm getting to.
Mm-hmm. So, could you say that math is evil?
I think math's a language, and I think if you like don't fully know the whole language, like,
I don't know if we're supposed to.
Yeah, maybe.
I can't say that math is evil. You know, I know I make that joke a lot, but it's like, the more complex it is, the more I feel like I don't know if we're supposed to know these things.
Yeah.
Because like, what is it helping?
Well, I think you can learn things, but I think if you come from if you learn it from our like what we've been taught, maybe we're not being taught the full picture. Mm-hmm. And that's what the Terrence Howard was really fascinating to think about. Was like, oh yeah, maybe the fact that even just math, the way that I think about math, there might be some errors in it when I've always thought it was. Like, can you times by 0? Well, he talked about, you know, if you were to take that out physically, it's not possible.
Yeah, but isn't that just like how you word things? Like you split it up. If you time something by 0, like multiplication is like if I did 1 times 2, it's one group of 2.
Yeah.
So it makes it 2, right? So if I did 10 times 0, there's 0 groups of 10, so it's 0. Like that doesn't seem very complicated to understand.
But how do you start with something and end with nothing?
Right. That's what he's talking about. Like, that's not doable. In the physical world, like, you can't have 10.
Isn't that just an explanation of nothing? Because if we want to get metaphysical with it, there is no explanation of nothing because nothing is nothing. So how can you explain nothing? What's the point of even having the word?
But you had 10. Where did the 10 go? You have 2. We have 2 cans of beer.
I want to hit myself in the head with a brick.
Times 0. Right. We still have 2 cans of beer. Yeah. Where did they go?
They got
mass is neither created nor destroyed. Just changes. But where did they go? No, I think math is an expression of a language. Just like music is an expression of a language. And I actually think they're really similar. In the same way of like C.S. Lewis talks about this universal truth that operates through like all time and all of our lives. We don't really understand what math is, but we put numbers and things to it, and math turns into like programming and coding, which creates stuff. And music too, like notes and chords. You make songs out of it. It's all like, how do you make it work? And yeah, it's all interconnected. It's all a spectrum that moves around and then continuously like recreates itself.
So there's no, like, the concept of 0 is a fairly recent thing, recent within like a long period of time, but for us a fairly recent thing. So I wonder, like, because what's the purpose of having an explanation for nothing? Because I mean, it wasn't like when math was around long before 0 was a thing to us. So what's the, like, I wonder why we needed an explanation for 0. Like, why does 0 need to be a thing?
Yeah, I mean,
does that make any sense? Am I just talking?
No, it makes sense. Right. I don't know what this is not my world, but it was just interesting.
Well, these are not my world either.
These are the questions we should be asking. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's where when you listen to that podcast, I'm like, whoa, this is stuff that I've never even thought about. I always thought math was a thing that we used. You know?
Well, it's like, I don't need to keep badgering this, but it's just fascinating because there's no such thing as nothing. Like, there is, even at like the most like,
there's negative. But there's
negative is still something,
right?
it's less of something, but there's never an ending. It just keeps going on forever and
Right.
ever and ever and ever. It just keeps getting smaller, but it's never nothing. So why do we, like, I wonder if it's just like a thing in English, or do you think it's like there's plenty of cultures where like
I know
the
what it is.
concept of
Can I tell
nothing
you what
doesn't
it is?
exist. What?
Can I tell you what it is?
Please.
The CIA.
Yeah.
They created nothing
Boof.
so that they could say the Epstein Island is nothing. There's nothing here. That's why they created it, 80 years ago.
Nice.
Sorry. That's all I got.
I ain't got nothing.
I like how you had to get the camera synced up for that joke. That was nice.
I was really pumped for that. I'm having fun with this thing. It's
cool.
It's kind of nice. Yeah, no, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy thing. Crazy times. Come back on me.
And me. Oh, nope. Oh, I'm not in your shot, so you can.
No, yes.
Okay.
Each person is yeah.
So I can look at the dead cameras as much as I want.
Yeah, no one's gonna even.
You're not going to look back.
Right,
Okay, cool.
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, it's nice. Ow, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go back to we were just talking about how you were talking about this how life is, so good and so bad at the same time, right? Like it's really some of the best times we've ever had versus also some of the worst times. Like we think I think it's because we're living on this scale. But I had a neighbor come up and ask, and he asked, how many people live in this house? And it's just like, me, Allison, and Noah. He's like, oh. And they come in from a house that has multiple people living in there, like a lot of people. And I'm like, just the perspective of my next door neighbor, they live in a house where no one has any room, and I have tons of rooms to do whatever I want in. And sometimes I'm like, man, I would love more rooms. Or I really don't need this room. But like, I have that freedom. I'm in such a good spot to have like multiple rooms where I can just do whatever I want in them. That it was just a mind-blowing thought for me, the fact that like, oh yeah, I like, as trivial as life is at times, like it's not that bad. Like I have a big enough yard for whatever we want to do. It was just crazy. It blew my mind a little bit.
And it's funny how you like you have the thought, well, like I could use more rooms and stuff, but in my case, I have a pretty small apartment. To be honest with you, it could be even smaller. Like I utilize such a small amount of the space. It just seems like the rooms I do have seem unnecessary, and it's just I wonder where that comes from, because I remember at a time feeling like, this isn't enough. Like I need a bigger space. For what? It's just me. I need like a room and a toilet.
Yeah.
And it's just like how I got to that point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like that thought process. I don't know how I got there, but it was just like.
Were you at church when they had John preached on the Revelation? John Troyer.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
So I found this thought really interesting, and Lincoln, I'd love to but he was talking about how in our brain we have kind of 4 different methods of like our animal instincts are fear, flight, fight, and then the 4th one, which he said they're kind of discovering now, scientists are kind of discovering now, is called fawn. So like fawn would be where you act a certain way so people will like you, but it's not genuine. It's not, you're just like corporate America. You're just politicking. It's what the politicians do. So when we're living in that space, like in those 4 compartments, we are always reacting. So, and marketers have found that they can sell more things to people if they're living in that spot where they are always on edge. They're afraid, or they're ready to fight, or they're ready to fly away. And so that's why so much of that stuff is being pumped in, specifically news, pushing that information all the time. And I wonder if like the need to have more comes from that, oh, I'm afraid I don't have enough, so therefore I need more. Like, I wonder if some of that comes from that, where I'm like, oh yeah, how much am I living in my lizard brain? Where I'm just like, oh, I need this next thing. Oh, I need this next thing. And I'm like, actually, no. Is this just the culture pumping this information at me all the time to try to get me to consume more? And is this going to be fulfilling? Like,
the concept of ads, like all the ads on social media where it's like tailored specifically to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like to the point where it's like it's something you thought of. It hadn't even spoken out loud, and then all of a sudden it's exactly what I want.
Phil, you definitely need this.
I need another hat.
We heard you lost your keys. Here's another thing to help you not lose your keys. How did you know?
Hey, Phil, your shoes look a little tattered. You need more shoes. How about get 2 pairs this time?
Yeah.
We saw, because we were watching when you put your phone in your pocket and we saw your shoes.
Hey, Phil, that girl that lives right across the street would like you more if you had better shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's, you know how it is. It's, you're watching the lights. Are you ready? Are you ready to have a rage? I was just like, flicker it. Lincoln would be like, start going to the epileptic shock. Yeah, I think the consuming and never being satiated too is like a really, yeah, I've been thinking about that a little bit too. Like, there's the thing about being fulfilled, and then another thing of like trying to be fulfilled.
What's that in us? Or like the constant, not just the constant need to be satiated, but never, like that never being fulfilled. Like, what is that?
Demons.
Okay. Here's exactly what it is. I'll tell you what it is. You're a human. You have needs, and your needs have to be met to maintain survival in life. Mm-hmm. But society, culturally, like the truth has been exchanged for a lie in everything. Mm-hmm. Like our food is a lie. The stuff we buy is a lie. You can get any pair of boots on Amazon that you want to get, but can you buy a pair of boots that's going to last 5 years? Mm. And so the concept of being satisfied for any amount of time with something that's a good, true product or like a food thing or whatever, like you cannot purchase because it's not ultimately profitable for people who sell things for you to buy one pair of boots every 5 years. But like that's everything in life is you have these needs, these are legitimate needs, but we're going to take these and like twist them into like a bastardized version of a need. And instead of like eating, a cow you grew, you get Taco Bell or whatever. And Taco Bell doesn't keep you full very long. It's like that with all the things we buy and consume. They're based on legitimate needs, but like since we've wanted so much, the quality has dropped so low that it's the equivalent of like low quality food that you can eat and eat and eat and never really be full. Like China buffet. That's what it reminds me of the most. You go to China buffet, 2 hours later, starving.
Starving.
Well, that's my take.
You have that like
That's
instant. Good. You have because of the quickness of it. You have this instant gratification that never it cuts off eventually, and then you need it again and again and again and again to the point where literally no one I speak to has any concept of real patience. I think that's something we all struggle with, me like especially. But it's just like more and more I spend time with other people, the more I realize that in certain aspects of everyone's life, even if you're not dealing with it directly, it's patience. Like it's key. No one has any patience for anything, especially in America.
That's why I'm going back to the demons thing. Like, really, I feel like God will satisfy. Like, the Creator is going to be the one that can satisfy you. And then, of course, the devil wants you to keep on running after him because he never fills you up. So, like, those processed foods, demonic. You know what I mean?
The stuff that like God gave you to consume and have domain over will satisfy you, will keep you full, like the leather boots that you make from the hide from the cow you butchered for your meat are going to be real leather and they're going to last a long time. Like, the natural materials and stuff given to you tend to be pretty strong, robust, satisfying things to consume and use. And
what's going to happen when you take that leather and you make your boots? You're going to be creating. You're not going to be consuming. You're not going to just go on to Amazon and buy something.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be taking something and putting time and effort into it and creating something that's going to be lasting, long-lasting.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm saying demonic.
And like I said, it's funny that we're talking about this because it's just. So I bought a sewing machine recently.
Yeah.
Within the past couple of months, and I've been like Frankensteining a pair of pants, or something that I struggle with because I don't necessarily find things that fit my body. Or if I do, find something that's comfortable. They don't last long, Everything kind of falls apart, or like it's made out of some stretchy material that just it evaporates after time. Like I've been Frankensteining a pair of pants. It's like the ultimate pair of pants, and I'm so excited about it. It's like last night, it was like 2:00 in the morning. I couldn't sleep, and I'm like coming up with ideas on how to fix my pants. And it's just like, and I had to take a step back, and it was like. What's going on?
What's wrong? No,
it's good,
but it's
not
fashion.
wrong because
it's fashion.
I'm creating a pair of pants right now that I will wear for the rest of my life, and that's it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's cool though,
Yeah.
and I think the other thing is you'll literally have it's gonna be one of one, and I think people want that uniqueness too. They're gonna be like, dude, those pants or they'll think they're. People who listen to mainstream media will be like, dude, those pants are gross. Mm-hmm. Those are not the best. They're the worst. ISIS made those pants.
You know who made ISIS?
Who? Yeah, Trump probably. No, Obama.
Obama.
Big Mike.
It's just crazy.
Do you think Michelle Obama's a man?
Do I think?
Maybe.
Do I? I'm all right.
Yeah,
so
switch the camera to be on you.
Yeah, gut instinct going up. No, I'm gonna give you my answer. Legitimately, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
That's my gut feeling. Yeah. It is such a fun thing to think about, though.
It's too fun.
It is enjoyable to kind of poke and prod. It's a button that ticks people off, so it's fun to push that. But I mean, in reality, no, I don't think so.
I don't know. I find that as funny as
Probably.
when I walked in here and the first thing you said to me is, "You look like the lady from Jurassic Park," right? So you take a photo of me, and 20 years later, it's like, was Phil a lady this whole time?
No,
it's a photo.
I would say I'm if I was to do it by percentages, 20% of me wants Big Mike to be real. 80% of me doesn't think it's legit. But there's still a little bit that it's fun to walk down that path a little bit. Just the same as Trump is the Antichrist. That's also, do I think he's the Antichrist? No. But is it fun to think about that? Yeah. I mean, does his Trump Tower have 666 floors? Maybe. Possibly.
I don't think it does. That's way too many floors.
It's on Twitter. Yeah, I have no clue.
That's a really tall building.
I just pulled that right out of nowhere.
We don't have buildings.
It's the biggest. It's the best.
But here's the thing: we don't know how many floors are under the ground.
It's true. That's really true. It's really true.
Then we're getting into underground military bases, and that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about airships?
Like blimps.
Explain.
What do you think about airships?
What's an airship?
A ship in the air, blimp.
Like a blimp.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is your question
like a Zeppelin, like a turn of the century flying device?
I gotta be honest with you here. I've never thought about it once in my life.
I was thinking about this last week. Now, my question is, what's your question about it? Are you saying what do you think about them? Why aren't they around? Why haven't we seen them? Is that your question?
No. Would you own one?
Would I own a blimp?
Yeah.
Maybe a hot air balloon.
Oh.
No, dude. It's got what? No. Isn't a blimp technically just a hot air balloon but with propellers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna put it? What are you gonna do with it?
My yard. Fly around. Why was that a hard question? Why were that?
Fair. That's fair.
Were those supposed to stump me?
Yeah. You nimbly maneuvered around that.
Well, now I just imagine it attached to ropes, connected to your house.
Waiting.
What happens if good enough gust of wind and all of a sudden you go outside? Where's your airship? It's gone.
It's in the air where it belongs. Airship.
He would rise above the gusts of wind.
Yeah, what happens when it storms? I get in my airship.
Just keep going.
And then I come back down when it's over. Mm-hmm. Like planes. When they definitely fly around the globe.
Yeah, the flat. See, okay. Here's the thing. We're talking about Big Mike Flat Earth, right?
I believe more likely
Flat Earth more than I do Big Mike. That's probably where I'm at.
How could it be more likely that the Earth is flat than Michelle Obama is a man? One of those things happens sometimes. One of those things happens sometimes.
I think that a lot of that is just like
true.
That's a crazy thing that people get into to hide from the fact, like the real facts, like hollow Earth.
Okay. Wait. All right. Let me.
They're all tied together, are they not? Isn't it
I don't know. I've put absolutely no thought in what I just said. So please don't.
Let me pull us back to a different point of conversation real quick.
So what do you think's going on in Antarctica? What were you going to say?
I don't know. Why did Hitler go to Antarctica and then also 6,400 troops from America go to Antarctica in World War II? No one knows.
To make out.
see that one doesn't.
They're gay. They're gay.
Well, that one doesn't seem unplausible. It's just like you're restricted on who can go there, right? Mm-hmm. There's proof that several militaries have been there, but the rest of us aren't allowed to go there unless we have special permission. Like, of course they're doing something over there.
Well, there's only one other place that's the case. Yeah. It's Epstein's Island. You have to have special permission to go there.
It's not a safety thing. People are allowed to climb Mount Everest as much as they want and die.
Yeah.
It's not a safety thing.
It's just here. All right. I mean, great questions. Solid questions.
Best questions.
Best questions. my question is this. So let me tell you a quick little story about this morning. So I went to the bank at 9:30. I walk in, two teller ladies who I've seen before at the bank, standing there with a desk in front of them at the front doors. And they say, "Hi, what can I help you with?" And I was like, "Yeah, I need to withdraw some large bills, like large bills. I don't want 20s." And they said, "Well, we can't do that. You have to go to the ATM. Hopefully it's working. Pull out cash, come back, and then we can give you large bills. But our systems are not working because of this update."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard
this cyber attack?
Yeah.
So that's what I was curious about because I have my supervisor at work is very knowledgeable when it comes to like computer stuff. I'm not,
Yeah.
This might be a simple thing, but it's like it's a foreign language to me because yesterday I got I'm headed to work, stop at the gas station. All the screens are like the blue like failure page.
Yeah.
That computers can have. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. I went inside, took care of what I needed to, filled up my tank, didn't think anything of it. Then I get to work, and it's like the stock market crashed. Like absolutely nobody knows what to do.
Wow.
Like everybody's going home early and like completely like I don't know what to do now. Like I was I was the last person at work for like the last 4 hours of the day because everybody just went home because of what turns out to be a computer update.
Cyber attack.
Do you think it was a cyber attack?
Well, see, that's what I heard.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know.
Do you think people just left because they felt like the minorest of inconveniences they can then use that to like parlay?
Friday also.
Yeah,
it was
that's
Friday.
True. Yeah.
It was a disgruntled employee that wanted a short day and decided to click the wrong button.
How? So you talked about like earlier. I guess the logic argument is it does mass evil exist or is it mass incompetence?
Are they the same thing?
Maybe, I don't know, but like a lot of people will draw a line as like, is there a true evil force running the earth, which I happen to think there is.
Mm-hmm.
I think
a lot of people don't.
One is a result of the other,
or are people just incompetent? How do so many organizations use the same software, like same specific thing in the software,
right?
So that like
owned by Bill Gates,
its planes are down, can't pump gas, can't go to the bank, like
right.
These are like, I mean,
and then it blows me. Like the thing that confused me the most about all of that was not just that everybody's using the same software, but like the country's been around for a while, long before this
software.
Yeah.
Right.
So why is it fully dependent on one single thing, and why is it so often in society where it's like we'll go to the easiest thing possible and we'll all do the exact same thing, and then when that one thing fails, everybody's screwed.
Right.
When it's just like no one has the wherewithal to think like, I'm gonna have a little bit of a backup idea, or I'm gonna do this. Like you don't have to be like a crazy prepper to know that like everybody doing one thing that could fail, and they're like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna put the blinders on.
Right.
Like, that could have been 1,000 times worse than it is, and we could all be like, there's no more anything. Like we're all screwed. We can't get gas. We can't go to groceries. Some people's cars aren't working.
2000 happens. Y2K. Right. Everything breaks down. Right. Yeah.
Like it blows me away that like one computer program we're in this Stone Age where it's like we existed for a couple hundred years before that. Where it's like
thousands. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying the United States as a country like existed.
A couple hundred. Yeah. Exactly. Were you gonna say something, Lincoln?
Not until the camera was on me.
Okay, go for it. It's on you.
You've heard of the Ford Pinto, right? You've heard of the Ford Pinto?
I have
My
not.
grandpa had one when I was little.
The Ford Pinto was a car in the 70s, and it had one notorious problem. It would explode.
Oh.
The gas tank was in the back. If you got into an accident, it was prone to exploding.
Not just an accident, a small fender bender. It didn't take much.
Because the shocks that mounted the rear bumpers to the body of the vehicle would become pressurized if conditions were right. If they got hot, like in an accident, they compressed and got hot, and would shoot and puncture the gas tank.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a pretty notorious issue. As soon as the problem got identified by Ford executives, they had a decision to make: recall all of these vehicles. The Pinto was a cheap economy car; everyone bought it.
Yeah.
It was like a Ford Taurus. It was like a Toyota Corolla, like a car that everyone had. So they had a choice that was either recall all of these and fix all of them, or we're going to have to settle with the families of a few unfortunate victims. What's going to cost more? Contingency plans are expensive. And I think that's why there's no backup plan for the software for the gas station, because it costs too much. It's cheaper to go a day or two not being able to do business than it is to invest in a contingency plan for your operating system.
And you know, like I mean that more in like in a personal sense than a like widespread thing. I don't know. It just seems like a lot of those things are like local problems that locally you could have, you know, in case this happens, this is what we're gonna do. Like it doesn't have to be like a countrywide thing, I guess.
Yeah, we're so now like globally connected. It's like it's national. It's no longer.
So
I got another thing.
I'll explain this.
Go for it.
Right. So it used to be gas stations. So like if let's say they had like a blackout and you know you couldn't pay for gas or something like that. Let's just I would go to a gas station, pay them in cash, and the pumps could switch like it was a manual pump. It wasn't always like it wasn't an electrical pump, so you didn't need electricity to pump the gas, right? So that's like I'm saying. I don't know where I'm going.
No. Can I add to this? It's funny because there was an option for you to go manual.
Yes.
I went to a gas station this week, and to press the 87, I think it was 87 or 89, whatever the cheapest option was, there was no button. There was a big touch screen.
Yeah, the touch screen.
And I touched 87 and then pumped it. And I felt so weird. I'm like, I do not trust this whatsoever.
And they keep updating. There's, like they're constantly putting in these like
new screens, new pumps, new
things. Yeah, it's like they're constantly updating to this new to where eventually like you go into a fast food place and you don't even talk to somebody anymore. It's just one screen. Like it's a touch screen.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if you go to the person, they're like, "Why are you talking to me?"
Yeah. Set my headphones in. Or have you seen like their robot driving down the aisles scanning? That's at Martin's. The Martin's in Goshen. You just go in there and there's a robot going down the aisles and it's scanning all the food. And there's a little thing that says, "Don't mind me, I'm just inventory checking." So it's on a cleaner, so it's cleaning and inventory scanning at the same time, which I mean makes sense to me. I'm like, oh.
I wonder what it's actually looking for. Is it looking for holes?
Oh, I know.
Like, what's that? You're gonna have to make sure your mic cuts out for what you just said.
You hear? Okay,
yeah, I heard it in the headphones. Pay attention to whatever time to. That too.
Where are we at? 10:24. I'll go back in. Timonspodcast. They're the best. The African American community loves me. They love Trump.
We're cutting all this out.
Yeah.
All of it.
It is gone. I've had 17 beers.
No, this is not last time.
No, you haven't drank You haven't drank anything since.
Yeah, the wrong camera.
Yo.
There you go. What's up? Yeah, since the last podcast, since my betrayal by alcohol, that really snuck up on me in unanticipated, unprepared for ways. You knew. I didn't know. I didn't anticipate.
But the thing is, we all knew because they were Four Locos, Lincoln.
Again,
bro, yeah.
There's
Phil.
It's in the name. The
Loco.
Weekend.
And so to get to the end of the story, I don't really drink hardly at all anymore. Mm-hmm. This is an anomaly.
You were betrayed.
Mm-hmm. But the weekend before that, Phil, you hung out at my house and we both. Well, I don't know how many beers you had. I had 15 beers. 15 beers in one setting, and I was worse off after the podcast
than 15 beers.
Which that comparison was like, whoa, what's going on? This thing that I have trusted for 10 years now, like the relationship's changed. And
an institution betrayed you.
An institution betrayed me. So yeah, I've been drinking less, but it's fine. I don't know.
Is there any changes that come with that? Like,
yeah, I think so.
Less inflammation.
I think inflammation definitely. Beer like messes with my stomach and gut a little bit.
Yeah.
Like bread does too, kind of. Yeah. I don't think I'm gluten sensitive at all. I just think like the paste that it is really messes with my body's ability to like digest stuff. Yeah. And so a bunch of beers, I feel pretty bloated, feel pretty sick for like a couple days. Seltzer is not really so much, but I still don't. You know, it's just not really worth it.
Yeah. For Locos, do they mess with you at all?
I don't know. They did last time. There won't. Nah, I'm not going to say there won't be. I doubt there will be a next time, though, with those.
Yeah.
You had enough.
Yeah, so a turning point of just less alcohol overall. And I've gone through periods where, like, haven't really drank at all. And the periods of not really drinking at all or drinking very little have gotten longer and more substantial than the periods of I drink a lot, drink every weekend, drink a couple times a week. Like the space between those has changed a lot because it used to be one way and now it's almost never
shifted
drink a lot. Yeah,
wow.
It's very much shifted the other way of I drink the amount of times I used to not drink.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
This is a flip-flop.
Yeah, it's flip-flopped.
And like as far as I don't know, I've noticed that I've drank as far as alcohol. I'm drinking more than I used to since I've quit smoking. As a like, not necessarily
like a crutch,
like an unconscious like replacement of a crutch. Or it's just like I had that thought the other day where it was like I was sitting on my porch. I just got off of work. It was a perfectly normal experience. Where like I've had a long day at work. It's like 5 p.m. I'm gonna have a couple beers, and then like I'm drinking them like they're water, and then I'm thinking to myself, well, is this necessary? Do I need to be doing this? Is it helping me? Am I even having a good time? Like I'm by myself in the sun. I'm hot and uncomfortable, and now I'm a little drunk. Like what do I
gain from this? Yeah,
and then I have like I don't know. It's just that thought where it was the same thing I had with like cigarettes, where it was like I didn't have some like come to Jesus moment with cigarettes. It was just like do I really need to be doing this?
Yeah.
Like,
is this beneficial?
You know, it's not really what is beneficial now, as much as like, just why? Like, what was my reason for making this my identity? Like, just cause? I was like, because I was outside with a group of friends and I wanted to fit in, or do I like? Why have I made this who I am for so long? What's the reason?
How many months are you? Like a month and a half, 2 months?
I don't know. It's not a super long time, but
still no. 60 days. 30 days of create a habit. 60 days of break.
Like, I haven't. This is another thing that's weird. I haven't had any like cravings. I haven't had any like, oh, I really need a cigarette, which has been a problem with me so much in the past. And it's just been like, could I smoke one? Yeah. Do I want to? I don't know. I don't really think I need to. I did buy like herbal cigarettes, just, I don't know, for shits and giggles.
Just to tempt yourself. Yeah.
Just to tempt. See, the thing, yesterday I'm at work for like the first time in a couple of months. It's break time and everybody's out smoking a cigarette. I'm like, well, I can go out there and not feel weird, enjoy myself. So in there, and I'm like smoking this like tasteless, kind of gross, tea leaf in cigarette form. And I'm thinking,
what am I doing? Yeah.
What do I do? Like,
here's my can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Did it satisfy you?
No.
Demonic.
Interesting.
Okay, sorry.
I'm glad you got that on camera.
It was all on you the whole time. I was trying to flip between Phil and myself, and it was just you. I like fat fingered, just like good.
All right.
I don't know. It just because like I went inside and I threw the pack away, and I'm thinking like, just like the rest of the day, I'm thinking to myself like, how much of my life is spent like filling my my being with like things that I think are necessary that aren't even necessary, to the point where like I could just keep cutting things away until it's just me in the middle of my living room sitting Indian style with my eyes closed and being perfectly content as a human being.
If you can get to that point, bro, you've made it. You've legit made it. Like that's like, I think everyone's trying to get to that point, consciously or unconsciously. That's fascinating, fellas. I got pee. Should we wrap it up?
We should wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. This camera. Tell the people.
The wings are really hot.
Sorry, I definitely was on Phil when you tried to say. Yeah.
The wings are really hot.
Okay. Guys,
did you get it?
It's the hot wings. Never mind. That's okay. We'll explain it to you later, Phil. Tell people if there's any last remarks, any last things you guys want to say.
The camera was on Phil.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next Timonspodcast. Peace.
Bye.